So hey guys, welcome to another movie review. Today I'm going to talk about Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It is a film by Shane Black. Shane Black did Iron Man 3 recently. He's also the screenwriter for the original Lethal Weapon, and he was also one of the actors in Predator. He was the guy with the glasses, always kind of talking dirty things about his girlfriend and stuff. So he's been a part of a lot of big action films. So this is actually one film that he both wrote and directed. Um, it even says from the creator of Lethal Weapon down here. I don't even know if he's the creator of Lethal Weapon. I think he was just the screenplay writer. So I don't know how they credited him in that way. Um, but yeah, in this film, you guys, Robert Downey Jr. is a criminal turned actor turned private investigator detective. Um, and, basically, we never quite know who he really is, but it's leaning more toward a detective based off how the story plays out. Um, but basically, he meets up with a childhood friend played by Michelle Monaghan. That's her right there. Um, and she's this big name actress in Hollywood. Um, she's kind of got her um, fame mostly from commercials. Doesn't really do she's a big actress, but she doesn't really, according to the movie, she really never got into really big things like film wise. Um, but basically, Robert Downey Jr. hasn't seen her for years. Um, but he does see her at this bar one night, and he kind of hits on her at first, but he doesn't realize it's this girl that he's known since his childhood. Um, they kind of catch up on things once they realize that it's each other and everything. Um, so basically, she's convinced that he's this private investigator because he's not really being completely honest with her, and she really believes that he's this like professional, top notch, the go to guy when it comes to detectives. So she assigns him to this case involving a friend of hers, and she's having trouble with this guy, and basically she assigns him to this big case, and he's kind of in over his head because he's not really this big name detective like she thinks he is. Um, but luckily, he does have a detective partner played by Val Kilmer in this. He's kind of this actor turned detective, kind of like Robert Downey Jr. Except he's more well known. He's more known acting wise and detective wise. The two of them are still kind of learning how to be detectives. Um, so basically, they're both in over their heads. Corpses get involved. Um, a series of events happen where they really get in over their heads. So basically, it's this case that Robert Downey Jr. has taken on, and he has no idea how to handle it. He's not sure if he's in love with Michelle Monaghan, if after all this has happened, if he should avoid her altogether. So basically, he's a man trying to figure himself out, and but deep down, he knows that he's doing a lot of things that's bad. He's robbing stores, and basically he just took an acting position because he got lucky and was in an audition room at the time where he was actually robbing a store and everything. And so, what's also kind of cool about this film too is Robert Downey Jr. narrates throughout the film, so it's kind of like this. Him telling you his life story while also kind of representing the fact that he was this actor, and he's kind of this thing. Oh well, movies are always doing this and they're always doing this. I like it when they do this. I hate when they do this. So they kind of represents that throughout the film, which is kind of interesting. So for the positives and negatives, like I was talking about earlier, for the positives, the film is uniquely narrated. Robert Downey Jr. did a very good job narrating the film. It definitely kind of added a new dimension, a new way of kind of viewing movies, and from that sense, the film is entertaining throughout, which is always a good thing. It's a film; it should be entertaining in some way. Um, so a huge thumbs up for the entertainment part. This film was very funny at times, specifically when Robert Downey Jr. and Michelle Monaghan, they kind of have these, these negative, yell out loud comments to each other when he's at her door. His finger gets cut off in one scene when she slams it too hard on him, and you know, she's like, if you really enjoyed, sleeping around with my friend, how come you're bragging about it here at 6 a.m. And funny stuff like that happens. Um, it's a really funny film. There's just a lot of really funny, dirty, secretive things that these characters say throughout the film. That's just really funny at times. Um, Robert Downey Jr., Michelle Monaghan, and Val Kilmer were all really good in this. Um, yeah, like performance wise, like they all did a terrific job. Um, I like how the characters kind of shared their secret thoughts throughout the film. So if they had like this big sexual desire, they had no problem sharing it. If they had like this really dark like hatred feeling, they had no problem sharing it. So I like the honesty that Shane Black put into the film with these characters. Um, for negatives, I think overall, I've seen some of Shane Black's stuff up to this point, and I really believe that he's a better screenplay writer over a director. I think, Lethal Weapons, his big film. Um, and that being said, I mean, he didn't direct it. He wrote the story and he wrote the screenplay. Um, Iron Man 3, I mean, it had a very bad twist in it that I really didn't care for. Good film, but like it's just some things about it that I didn't like. And after seeing Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I mean, it was just kind of all over the place and messy at times. Yeah, it was a very messy film. Like, even when I was explaining the synopsis to you, I mean, that's kind of like parts of the film, and it's a very hard film to talk about because it's like there's just so many things happening in this film. It just feels messy, and it like, has no idea where it wants to go. Um, So I think Shane Black should really invest his time and money into being more of a screenplay writer because what I've seen of him as far as a director goes, I really don't think he's up there with like John McTiernan or I'm trying to think of the big name '80s and action film directors like James Cameron and I just don't think he's up there, and I really think he's like Richard Donner. I mean, he directed Lethal Weapon. That was not Shane Black's. He just wrote the story. Um, so I think screenplay writing is a much better position for him. So far what I've seen of his directing stuff, I really don't think he has what it takes to be a director. Um, the film loses direction very quickly, like I was talking about earlier. It just feels messy. It has no idea where it's going. Um, it's entertaining. It's funny, but it just loses direction after a while. And I really think, once again, with a better script, and I know I'm always talking about that. Um, I think this film would have been a lot more fun. Um, there was a lot of missed opportunities here. I think if the film kept what it was doing for like the first 40 minutes, kind of this criminal turned actor turned director, narrating his own film, kind of talking about his life, sharing these deep dark secrets, which did happen throughout the film, but it just kind of it goes into the whole doing this big over the top case for a friend direction, and it just I don't know. It just really felt messy to me, and I think with a better direction and a better script, I think the film would have been much more fun. And it just, like I said, there was just so many missed opportunities. It's like, okay, well, that could have been more fun. They could have rewritten it like this. Um, that action scene could have been going on longer, and it could have been more fun. So a lot of things like that happened throughout the film, which is really too bad. Um, the film loses its spark very quickly. It just vanishes over time. By the film's done, the spark is completely gone. Um, it starts off so strong and it has such a neat idea going for it, and then it just plops to the ground and just loses the idea completely. Um, so Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, you guys, I'm gonna have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It is okay. It's funny. It's entertaining, which is always good. It's uniquely narrated. There's some great performances in this, but it just is not a very well organized film. And I think with a spark that's consistent throughout the film, like if it just would have kept the energy that it had in the first 40 minutes of the film, I think this film would have been great. And I think there's just so many things that went wrong, and like I said, with a better script, I think it could have been a lot more fun. So, like I said, 7.5 out of 10 for me, guys. It's funny, it's entertaining, but it just is not the film that you were hoping it was going to be. At least I didn't think so. Um, okay film. I wouldn't say I would recommend it, but there is some interesting things to it, so I'm not going to say completely avoid it either. So I guess give or take with this one.